On we go then with the action here at the PDC Women's Series, the second event of 4 brought to you this weekend, and it's Vikki Tasker who's just won for the first time in 8 attempts of Women's Series tournaments. She beat Abby Jerd to set up this second round tie with Yukie Sakaguchi of Tokyo in Japan, bringing style to the streaming board. I must say she looks much smarter than you or I. Donning the tie, Rod Harrington style, Paul Nicholson style. Well, let's see if she's got the substance to back it up as well. She reached the quarterfinals in the first event, lost to her travel partner Mikuru Suzuki. It's Sakaguchi against Tasker, who doesn't... Well, it looks like she does have some kind of nickname on the back of her shirt. She didn't enter one in the forms that they all fill in before the tournament, but I think she should be called Multi.
Very good indeed. Chris Murphy, ladies and gentlemen, he's here all week. Don't forget to tip your waitresses. Tasker against Sakaguchi. Just both players still going for the ball 25.
Here. And Yukie's won the ball.
Sakaguchi takes it. And seems quite pleased that she's won the ball.
Yeah, I'm not sure that your opponent's the right person to celebrate with.
Well, Rod Harrington style, the Sakaguchi, the princess of style here. Donning the tie, and what a start this is, by the way.
Doesn't even want the 180. Fancy switching instead. Hit plenty of those. I'll try for a 177. Strong start from Sakaguchi, who's looking to back up that quarter-final run, the best she's had at the Women's Series. It's only the second time she's travelled. She played in one weekend of events last year, although that was 6 events because they did have 3 a day on that occasion. And let's see if Vikki is up to the task.
27.
Trying to make out what it says on the back of the shirt. Something metal.
I think it's Gods of Metal, I think.
75.
Well, that was a bit of a happy accident, wasn't it? Finding the treble 18. There's a lot to admire about the throw of Sakaguchi as well. It's kind of a throw 44. That you think could be taught, something that you would advise people to throw like. It's a game where everybody does it differently, but hers is kind of textbook.
It looks, yeah, orthodox was the word I was going to use. It just looks like the type of throw that is, that, yeah, you're right, it's something that you could teach, you know aiming from the eye and making sure that you follow through. Not stopping at the top or halfway like we saw like Lorraine Winstanley do, but it seems to work for Lorraine.
Very
59.
Replicatable. Vikki's a bit more erratic.
26.
Yeah, not the start for Vikki Tasker so far. Highest score so far is 75. Sakaguchi been pretty first gear since that 127 start.
40.
For the Tokyo native. One of the best cities in the world, I must say. I've been there a couple of times. It's a fantastic place to go to. And they do love their darts over there as well.
Yeah, just for impartiality
79.
reasons. So is Hull, where Vikki Tasker comes from. We've all been to Hull and back.
Indeed. No, just saying, Chris, I've been to Tokyo a couple of times and going to some of the local sports bars there, and they do have like a setups like we have like here, you know, 16, 20 boards in a big room. And what 41. Would happen? You'd go into a network, and this we're talking about 3 or 4 years ago when I was last in Tokyo, and you'd end up playing at somebody else who's in Yokohama or in Honshu or something, and you'd wave to each other, and and you'd have a game of 501 against somebody who's maybe 200 miles away.
Yeah, it's the old darts live system, isn't it? That Paul Lim 100. Actually quite influential in. A lot of soft tip darts played over in Japan. It does, like you say, it is
45.
hugely participated in sport, but not really yet become the spectator sport that it has in this country and Germany and so on.
One inch down from there.
40.
So still Tasker back on 216 after 7 visits. But finds the treble 20 for the first time. The second time, how about the third?
140.
Much better.
Double 10 though to win the first leg, a leg that started well for Sakaguchi, but it's kind of, it feels like she's been dragged down a little bit with not an awful lot thrown at her, and now maybe she can refocus because her opponent is on the brink of a finish, and Tasker may yet steal the leg.
16.
But down to 4. Tasker with a 76 outshot coming in. Should have a dart at 1 double at least. 16. Cardinal sin.
Yeah, not just
20.
missing, but missing outside, and not just once but twice. Two twos for Sakaguchi. 2 1s.
No score.
Well, better there than missing outside for her, but Tasker really should have been coming back throwing at a double.
Instead, we'll only have 2 darts at it. 20 for double 18. 2 18s coming in. Got to go 2 inches to the left.
20.
Not enough.
Game shot.
Well, that's what we call a settler. Should just enable her to relax a little bit now, having found the double in a leg that she was a long way ahead in. Tasker never really threatened until she actually managed to get a couple of darts at double, and one of them goes in. It's a different game. You've got an unsettled Sakaguchi. As it is, you feel that she should go on and get a handsome victory. And she's had a very good day today. Not only did she reach the quarterfinals, but the players she beat to get there, Denise Cassidy,
45.
Maria O'Brien and Vikki Proom, all very experienced and talented operators, all scalps really for Sakaguchi before eventually losing to Suzuki in the last 8.
You see Sakaguchi just practicing her throw behind Tasker, who's
20.
went on the roundabout there, and no reward from that visit. Sakaguchi now to try and capitalise on that error.
26.
Only 26 bed and breakfast taken away. So wipe those starts away from both of these players and start again. For Tasker, maybe nerves begin to get the better of
7 scored.
the whole native. On the TV board here.
So if you are just joining us, a story of the day, Trina Gulliver picking up her first PDC Women's Series title.
100.
The 10-time world champion returning to the winner's circle, adding her name to the roll of honour, beating Laura Turner in a rare final that didn't feature either Fallon Sherrock or Lisa
98.
Ashton. In fact, it's the only final that hasn't featured those two, or Dieter Hedman, who hasn't participated in the Women's Series this year but did win an event in the first year. Gulliver becoming the 5th winner of one of these titles. What a moment it was. Will we get a 6, or will we see some kind of order restored at the end of this second event of the day?
Still a long way to go. We're about 3 hours off finding out the answer to that particular question.
Some players have started to make their moves. Eileen de Graaf came from behind to beat Juliet Findlay 4-3. She's into the last 32 already. Also through to that stage, Samantha Curtin, Priscilla Steenbergen and Helen Ward. We will keep you up to date with the scores as they come in, but if you do want to have a look for yourself, tv.dartconnect.com is the place to be. All of the results and live scores, and you can click on any match and see the scores in real time from any of the 16 boards around the arena.
Sakaguchi down to 190 after 5 visits.
60.
Takes 60 off that to leave a 130. to 18. Tasker back in 2-7-2. Had the darts in this second leg.
24.
But hasn't put it pay. And it's still not Vikki Tasker's day on this board so far. He needs to maybe regroup here to try and get back in the tie.
50.
Because no pressure's been put on Sakaguchi here. Who's just inching her way down to a finish. And Tasker seems may need to regroup here. Shake of the head. Not happening on this board.
Yeah, and maybe that's part of it, actually, Johnny. Maybe, you know, having just won a first match ever at the Women's Series, to be put straight on the streaming board after it, may just be a bit nervous.
60.
Happens to the best of us.
And the same may actually go for Sakaguchi, because I'm looking at her performances today. All of her averages, you know, respectable
68.
in the 60s. It's not going to be tournament-winning form, but it's certainly competitive in most matches. Aside from playing the elite in women's darts, as she does double her lead on double 10. Even in defeat to Suzuki, she averaged more than 60. She's a long way off that here, but it's probably a combination of being on the stream and playing an opponent who is not throwing anything at her.
But only 13 scored to open this third leg, so Tasker with an opportunity here.
$95.
That's much better from Tasker. It's down to 406.
$140.
And a good reply from Sakaguchi with her first 140 of this contest. Tasker.
64.
Good reprieve for 2 loose darts. So an even contest in this third leg.
Yeah, famine and feast so far for Sakaguchi. 13 followed by a ton 40. About 85 for somewhere in between.
45.
And only 45 she manages.
$15.
Just drift into the 5, but Tasker seems to have slowed down a little in this leg. Seemed to work a little bit better for the 33-year-old from Hull, who seemed to be rushing in the first couple of legs, throwing the darts like they were on fire, but it seemed to have slowed down a little now and maybe just trying to find a rhythm.
99.
Yeah, interesting, because Sakaguchi's not the paciest player. Reminder that one of the paciest and
18.
most efficient arrows acers in the women's game, Lisa Ashton, is up next. She takes on Tara Deemer.
$34.
It's hard work for Sakaguchi, but he's looking every inch like a 4-0 victory.
But it's work nonetheless, and
9 scored.
just 9 scored there for Vikki Tasker. And no, don't look back on this. And just remember the experience and where to work.
Yeah,
And for next time.
and I think it is part of it is definitely being in front of the camera.
58.
Having just won a first game, it's easy for anybody to watch and criticise from the cheap seats, but she's the one in the arena giving it a go, and you have to be commended for that. Obviously better than she's showing here.
43.
Well, she wouldn't be here.
Sakaguchi 112, no pressure. We'll stay there for double 16. Just down below, 87 left. Double 17 will leave double 18.
42.
70 to go. Tasker on 257, needs a ton here to have any sort of chance.
41.
The choices. The Sakaguchi. Single 18. Was aiming for 12 to leave tops. A 3 will tidy things up.
44.
Well, it's still a double.
But an awkward one at that. At 26 double 13. 2-1-6 for Tasker. Look to try and get into checkout range.
55.
And does so. It's a long shot. Sakaguchi double 13. Inside, single 1 or 5. 5 is the target for double 4 for a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, sometimes when you go inside on the 13s, double 4's not the best one to leave because it can block it, but there you see she had a completely clear bed, which is why she chose that route. And Sakaguchi, well, it's going to be statistically a poorest performance of the day.
30.
But there have been some really well thrown darts in amongst some of the more scrappy stuff. And it can be equally difficult to play against an opponent who is visibly struggling. To keep your
45.
focus, to keep your concentration. There you see again, 45 scored, but 2 of the darts, if you moved them half a centimetre up, are in the treble 20.
Three scored.
Just 3 scored there for Tasker. So Sakaguchi, I think she may just realise in the back of her mind that I know, you know, the work's not all done yet. She'll feel that she'll have one foot in the next round.
Do you know,
such as the way her opponent is playing.
I'm full of admiration for Vikki Tasker for going for the treble 20 with that third dart, because the amount of times you see darts players hit 2 single 1s and then switch just because they don't want to score 3.
120.
Much better from Tasker, much better.
And it gets her back in the mix in a leg in which she started with 33 from just 6 darts.
Sakaguchi's lost a dart.
Tasker found it. Should have kept it. Just stuck it in the back pocket and given herself
59.
an extra opportunity.
Now, remember what you did in the last throw and do that again. Much better. You know, it's only a 60. There was, I think, more importantly, the darts were a little bit slower there as well in the release, and it just didn't felt rushed.
I want to remember a game at the World Championship, you know, where Justin Pipe it was who
43.
broke one of his darts. He didn't have a spare one, and he actually used a spare one of his opponent. Now, the late, great Eric Bristow at the time was a pundit for that match, and he said he wouldn't have let him use it. He would have made him throw with 2.
30.
Again, nicely thrown dart, just shy of the treble. Could think about switching. Didn't. Still in the leg here, Vikki Tasker.
Yeah, 2-5-7. We'll need a treble though.
$26.
And these were the 26. 194 for Sakaguchi. $19s.
44.
To leave ton 50. Task on 2-3-1. Didn't seem impressed with that first dart.
Well, in soft tip, this would be 3 bullseyes,
26.
but the bullseye's rather a smaller target in steel tip. Would have been fun, wouldn't it?
True exhibition way to go, that is for sure.
94.
Good third dart though to leave. 56. Tasker back on 205.
Well, she'll have to up a game. If, as expected, she faces Lisa Ashton in the third round. Ashton up next against Tara Dima. Sakaguchi looking to complete a hard-fought, whitewash win. It seems strange to say that, but that's how it's been.
16.
Tasker back on 160. Look to try and pressurise the Sakaguchi throw on double top to come. It seems this has been a match that
60.
did not ignite whatsoever. Sakaguchi will no doubt be pleased of advancing here should the double top go in. But no doubt we'll have to regroup ahead of the third round. Not a classic, but Sakaguchi through nonetheless, beating Hull's Vikki Tasker by 4 legs to